Hello, welcome to the podcast today. I want to do it on relationships and particularly on the relationship you have with your partner. This podcast can actually, the ideas that I'm putting forward and suggestions that can actually work for your family and your friends and your work colleagues, but particularly today I want to do about your partner, how to make a better relationship with your partner. The basic thing is that if you're in a relationship with your partner, there's like two relationships that you have. So your partner is in a relationship with you and you are with them. And then you're each in your own relationship with yourself, where you go off and play hockey and maybe the other person goes and does yoga. So you have like those two separate lives. But then once you get into the dualistic one, which is the two relationships, one with you, them with you, so it goes backwards and forwards. These are the ones I want to talk about today. In the relationship with yourself and your relationship that your partner has with themselves, they can pretty much do what they want. It's just choosing what you want to do and how you want to do it. However, there's different rules in a relationship with someone else, and this is where I think lots of people get really unstuck and problems happen. And I think the basic problem is this. If you're in a healthy relationship and one that's working, I, for example, will put your needs first. So if I'm with Bob, I put Bob's needs first in our relationship and my needs second. He comes first. He's prioritised in our relationship. And then in Bob's relationship with me, he puts me first in that relationship. So I become prioritised in the relationship and he wants to do everything for me and make my life better. Therefore, we are balanced. We have equal investment, but we also have equal priority. And there won't be problems in those sort of relationships because the other person is always putting you first in that area. For example, if you are sick, they will stop doing things and look after you, even though they plan to go to watch the game. If you are needing some help and they were going to do something else, they will put you first. If you are feeling unhappy or that you need support, they will stop what they're doing and ring you up. They will be there for you. They will prioritise you. They will put you first. In unhealthy relationships, what happens is they don't prioritise you. So you can have a few dynamics. You can have where they don't prioritise you. They won't put your needs first. They're still doing their own needs and basically being selfish. While you are prioritising them, putting their needs first and being unselfish. And the other one is that you both are being selfish and in the relationship you don't prioritise one another, and that is going to be a real problem in the relationship. You can usually work this out pretty quickly between people because you can feel when people are prioritising you and when you're being shelved and pushed aside. We have it in our friendships, we have it in the family, we realise we're not the priority. And sometimes we can't be. There are cases or exceptions where we can't be. But if we do this all the time, the whole relationship gets into trouble. You don't prioritise people in your relationship. This way, you will have trouble. This means that you've got to change your head and put them first and ask them first. Quite often they'll be quite happy for you to go to the game or go and see your girlfriend if you say, look, but if they say, oh, well, actually, I thought it'd be really nice to spend some time together today, could we do that? Then you put them first. Because this is supposed to be your most important relationship you have in your life, the partner one. Because your family are important, but they have a whole section on their own, and your friends are important too. But this one now, this is like your first relationship, the first one you have, and then the others become secondary. They still have high priority, but you need to sort of think of it this way. You'll find that people will have trouble with families where the relationship's not working, the partner one, because the partner keeps putting the family first, not the partner, and then the other partner feels that they're being disloyal to them or not supportive. You'll find it with friendships too, when they run off to rescue friends all the time and just give up the time they've got with you all the time. This is happening. You'll find that they don't prioritise you when you're trying to talk to them. They won't listen. They'll be distracted and watching television or playing with their phone because they're not putting your needs first. So if you want your relationship to work and it's floundering and you're having trouble, talk to your partner about it and start to put their needs first, and then ask your partner to put your needs first, and I'll tell you, it will get better. Some people have to be taught this. It's not natural. An unselfish person tends to do this very easily. They'll always put someone else's needs pretty much first in the relationship. They prioritise them. They're the people who are ringing up to see how you are, or making sure that if they make a time with you, they don't keep changing it because they've got something better to do. The other people are, I feel, more selfish and perhaps more about themselves, more self-absorbed, and they will straight away put their needs first in the relationship. They always have to look after number one, and you're going to have trouble changing them unless they see it. And that's why I'm doing this podcast, because you can explain it to them like this, then they change it. So every time then you're in a relationship with them, they have to think, what would Wendy want to do? I'll ask her first and put her first as a priority, and then I'll work from that. And if she wants me to cancel it and come out with her, we'll do that, and I'll put my friend over there for a minute. It's actually very, very important, because this is like a fundamental problem that people have. They don't know why it's not working, and I'll tell you this is why it's not working. Because you still have your own life, and the other person has their own life where they go off and do things. We're just talking about the relationship life that you have. Once you start looking at it, you'll see it all over the place. You'll see it in your family, in your friends, and at work, and you'll see who puts you first, what the priority of the relationship actually is, and often it will be about them. I'm sad to say that to you, but when they ring you up and you haven't heard from them for a while, often if you listen clearly to the phone call, it's a lot about them, or they want help, or they want advice, or they want you to give sympathy to them, or they want support. Sometimes it's not about you at all. The phone call will start with how are you going, very quickly it'll be all about them, and you'll end up that you're actually not a priority, because the only reason they've rung you up because of themselves. It's they're prioritising themselves. I found it really fascinating when I kind of realised this, and then I started to understand why I also felt that they weren't meeting my needs, because literally they weren't. That was the actual truth. And then occasionally they did, and you think, oh, well, that's okay. But when I looked at it, it was always because it suited them, or they didn't have to choose, or there was only one option, and that's why they were doing it for me. It will make your relationships with other people better too. You might want to look at yourself and start to think that in my relationship with my partner, I need to put their needs first. In my relationship with my mum, I need to put her needs first. In my relationship with my children, I need to put their needs first. It's actually very, very important to do this in that part, because remember, you're being looked after in the other two separate relationships where it's just me on my own doing my own thing, or your kid doing their own thing, your mum doing her own things. You can still get your feed from that. Your needs are still being met by that. It's only once it is in the relationship and you're trying to mend it or fix it. People feel neglected, that would be the word I'd use, and emotionally not fed when they're in relationships where their needs aren't being met. Because what we need isn't what we want, they're different. A want is something you can do without, a need is something you really don't want to do without. I encourage you to start meeting the needs of the other person by asking them what they want, or if you're feeling intuitive, realising this is what they need. And that will be needing certain things, like sometimes even needing more personal space, sometimes needing to be loved more, sometimes needing to be told how special they are, being made special surprises for them, or gifts. You are meeting their need. That's what you're doing. And I think it's a wonderful thing to do. I love doing it. I enjoy doing this. But I don't enjoy being in relationships where it's one way. And I tend to, after a while, move away and out of those relationships, because I'm not being nourished. And that's the other thing. If a person's not meeting your needs in the relationship, there's no nourishment. And relationships are all about nourishing each other, loving each other, and being kind. I hope you get something out of this. I was just gobsmacked when I realised that that's where the problem is. I couldn't work out what it was, and then I woke up one day and thought, that's where that problem is. That's what it is. And I was clear and I understood it then. So nurture your relationships, put their needs first, and then when you have time on your own, in your own relationship with yourself, you can meet your needs there. So I'm hoping you enjoyed it, and I hope it changes your life and changes and makes a better relationship with your partner, because it's fundamental. Because if we lose them or we mess it up, life will be quite bad. Not everyone gets the chance to be in a partnership. So if you are in one, do this and see if it works and talk to your partner about it. So I'm sending you lots of love and lots of light.